Imagine a time when the world was engulfed in darkness. Adharma, unrighteousness, had reached its peak. The earth was crying in distress, and demons had spread terror in every direction. And then, when all hope seemed lost, Lord Vishnu appeared. Dashavatara, the 10 divine incarnations of Lord Vishnu, who took birth in different eras to protect the universe. But what secrets lie behind these incarnations? Why did each avatar manifest in a specific age? Are these merely mythological tales, or is there a deeper scientific truth hidden within them? Today, let's uncover this incredible story from a new perspective. Imagine a world where there is nothing but water all around. No land, no life, just an endless ocean. This was the time when a great deluge had consumed the entire world. Darkness was everywhere, and the terrifying roar of the ocean echoed all around. But within this destruction lay a new beginning, a divine plan, orchestrated by none other than Lord Vishnu himself. King Satyavrat, known for his truthfulness and righteousness, was once standing by the river, offering water in prayer. Suddenly, a tiny fish landed in his hands. The fish trembled as if pleading for protection from an unseen danger. Filled with compassion, Satyavrat placed it in a small water vessel. But as he looked at it, something strange happened. The fish began to grow, slowly at first, but within moments it outgrew the small vessel. The king transferred it into a larger pot, but the fish grew even more. When the pot became too small, he released it into a pond, yet there too it expanded rapidly. The king was astonished. This was no ordinary fish. Who was it? Then the enormous fish spoke in a divine voice. "O king, I am not an ordinary creature. I am Narayan himself. Soon the world will be consumed by a great deluge, and all life will be submerged. But do not fear, for I shall protect you and preserve the sacred knowledge of this universe." King Satyavrat stood in awe. This was no ordinary event. It was a divine message. The Lord instructed him to build a massive boat and gather all living beings, sages, and the seeds of life within it. And then, the day of the deluge arrived. The oceans rose with fury, giant waves crashed, and the earth was swallowed by water. Everywhere, there was nothing but a vast, endless ocean. At that moment, a magnificent form emerged from the heavens. It was the Matsya avatar. Lord Vishnu, in his giant fish form, appeared and tied the boat with the mighty serpent Vasuki, leading it safely through the cosmic ocean. In this way, he protected King Satyavrat and preserved the sacred knowledge of creation, ensuring that a new era could begin after the deluge. But was this just a story, or does it hold a deeper meaning? Could this great flood symbolize a real geographical event? Was it a historic catastrophe passed down through generations in the form of myths? This mystery remains unsolved to this day, but one thing is certain. Whenever there is a great crisis, Lord Vishnu manifests in some form to protect and guide us. Imagine, the earth has disappeared. Chaos spreads everywhere, nature is thrown into disarray, and the gods are filled with fear. But this was no natural disaster. It was the doing of a terrifying demon, Hiranyaksha. He had hidden the earth deep within the cosmic ocean. Disorder spread across the universe. The gods approached Lord Brahma, seeking help. Brahma meditated deeply. And then, a divine voice echoed, "Only Narayan can resolve this crisis." And then, Lord Vishnu took the Varaha avatar. But this was no ordinary incarnation. It was a colossal, wild boar, as massive as thousands of mountains. His roar was so thunderous that the very directions trembled, and the gods saw a glimmer of hope. As they turned toward the ocean, gigantic waves began to rise, signaling an impending cosmic battle. Lord Vishnu, in his Varaha form, leaped into the sky and plunged straight into the depths of the cosmic ocean. Below the surface, a new battlefield emerged. Hiranyaksha, believing himself invincible, laughed menacingly. "Oh, Vishnu, what can you do? The earth now belongs to me." But Lord Vishnu did not speak a word. His eyes burned with divine rage. And then, the great battle began. Underwater, a clash of two supreme forces. Hiranyaksha swung his mighty mace, causing waves to crash like tsunamis. But Varaha Avatar, with his unmatched power, countered every attack. The battle raged on. Oceans trembled, the heavens echoed with divine energy. And then, with one final devastating strike, Lord Vishnu vanquished the demon. Hiranyaksha fell, defeated. The gods rejoiced, chanting hymns of victory. But the task was not yet over. Lord Varaha gently lifted the earth on his massive tusks and slowly emerged from the ocean. With great care, he repositioned and stabilized the planet, restoring balance to the universe. But this tale is not just about a battle. It holds a deeper mystery. It teaches us that whenever chaos and unrighteousness overpower the earth, a divine force will emerge to restore balance. Some scholars also interpret this symbolically. Could this story hint at an ancient event where the earth was once submerged and later resurfaced due to a geological phenomenon? Could Hiranyaksha represent a cosmic event? This legend teaches us that no matter how great the crisis, truth and righteousness will always prevail. Whenever the earth is in danger, Lord Narayan will manifest in one form or another. Can you imagine? A king who declared himself God, a tyrant who wanted to rule the entire universe, and a young boy, standing at the doorstep of death, only because of his unwavering devotion. This is the story of Hiranyakashipu, and a divine, fearsome incarnation, Narasimha Avatar. Hiranyakashipu was no ordinary king. He was a powerful demon who had performed intense penance and gained a unique boon from Lord Brahma. He shall not die during the day or night. Neither a man nor an animal can kill him. He shall not die inside a house nor outside, neither in the sky nor on the earth. A boon that made him nearly immortal. Drunk with arrogance, he declared himself the supreme god. He forced the world to bow before him, except for one, his own son, Prahlad. Prahlad repeatedly proclaimed, "The true God is none other than Lord Vishnu." Hiranyakashipu was enraged. "Where is your Vishnu? If he is everywhere, is he inside this pillar too?" And then, a moment that shook the entire universe. Hiranyakashipu struck the pillar, and from within it echoed a terrifying roar. Suddenly the pillar shattered, and there emerged Lord Vishnu, but in a terrifying form, half lion, half man. It was neither day nor night, it was twilight. He was neither a man nor an animal, he was Narasimha. He was neither inside nor outside, he stood at the threshold. He was neither in the sky nor on the earth. He lifted Hiranyakashipu onto his lap, and then, with his sharp claws, he tore the arrogant demon apart. This form of Lord Vishnu symbolized wrath, justice, and the ultimate triumph of righteousness over evil. But this tale holds a deeper meaning. It is not just mythology, but a profound message. Whenever arrogance reaches its peak, its destruction is inevitable. Whenever righteousness is in danger, the divine manifests in some form. And above all, the power of devotion is unshakable. To protect a devotee like Prahlad, even Lord Vishnu had to break his own rules. Think about it. Was the Narasimha avatar merely a mythological event? Or could it symbolize a deeper scientific phenomenon? Could it be an ancient way of explaining the balance of cosmic forces? Does it remind us that whenever a force tries to disrupt the natural order, nature itself takes on a new form to restore equilibrium? This is not just history. It is a message for the future. The cycle of creation continued. Ages changed. And then came a time when the earth was ruled by a demon king. But this demon was different from the others. He was mighty, He was brave. But one thing set him apart: his devotion and generosity. This is the story of Mahabali, the great king known for his strength and unparalleled charity. With his valor, he conquered the three worlds: heaven, earth, and the netherworld. Even the gods were defeated by him. But when power turns into arrogance, the divine must intervene. The gods turned to Lord Vishnu for help, and thus, Vishnu incarnated as a small Brahmin boy, Vamana avatar. One day, King Bali organized a grand yajna, sacrificial ritual, where any Brahmin could ask for whatever they wished. And there, Vamana arrived. He appeared as a small, delicate boy, but his radiant face shone like the brilliance of the sun itself. King Bali welcomed the boy warmly and said, "O Brahmin, I am ready to grant you whatever you desire. Ask for anything your heart wishes." Vamana smiled and said, "O king, I seek only 3 paces of land." King Bali laughed. "Is that all? Ask for more. I can give you the entire earth if you wish." But Vamana remained firm. "No, my king, I only need 3 paces of land." Bali, bound by his promise, agreed. But as soon as he took the vow, something astonishing happened. Suddenly, Vamana began to grow. His form expanded colossal in size, so immense that with his first step, he covered the entire earth. With his second step, he engulfed the entire heaven. Now, there was no space left for his third step. Bali now understood that this was no ordinary Brahmin. This was Lord Vishnu himself. With humility, he bowed down and said, "O Lord, place your third step upon my head." Lord Vishnu gently placed his foot on Bali's head, sending him to the netherworld, Patal Lok. But, moved by Bali's unwavering devotion, Vishnu blessed him, granting him the kingdom of Sutala Lok and ensuring his immortality through eternal devotion. This incarnation teaches us that power, when consumed by arrogance, leads to downfall. King Bali was generous, but his desire to rule the entire universe became his weakness. However, because of his devotion and benevolence, he also received Lord Vishnu's eternal blessings. The Vamana avatar also signifies that Lord Vishnu does not only descend to destroy evil, but also to test true devotees and guide them on the right path. And thus, Vishnu once again restored balance, eradicated arrogance, and imparted a timeless lesson. Ego always meets its end, but devotion is the ultimate path to salvation. In the ever-turning cycle of ages, when the tyranny of Kshatriyas increased on earth, when kings strayed from their righteous duties, and when the innocent suffered under oppression, then manifested the 6th incarnation of Lord Vishnu, Bhagwan Parashurama. Parashurama, meaning Rama with the axe, was the warrior who cleansed the earth 21 times of unrighteous Kshatriyas with his divine axe. But this is not just a mythological tale. It also holds deep historical significance. Born to Maharishi Jamadagni and Mata Renuka, Parashurama was a Brahmin by birth, but embraced the duty of a warrior. His power, determination, and wrath made him a formidable divine warrior. But the turning point in this incarnation came when the arrogant king Kartavirya Arjuna mercilessly killed Parashurama's father, Maharishi Jamadagni. This injustice ignited a blazing fury within Parashurama. He vowed to rid the earth of oppressive and unrighteous Kshatriyas not once, but 21 times. Parashurama's anger was not ordinary rage. It was a sacred fire against injustice. With his mighty axe, Parashu, he fought and shattered the arrogance of the Kshatriyas. Parashurama was not just a warrior, but also a legendary guru. He trained great warriors like Karna and Bhishma Pitama in the art of warfare. But when Karna deceived him by falsely claiming to be a Brahmin, Parashurama cursed him that he would forget his training at the most crucial moment of his life. But a question arises. Was this incarnation merely a mythological story? or does it hold secrets of ancient India's warrior struggles? Does Parashurama's 21-time cleansing of the Kshatriyas hint at a historical conflict? Could it symbolize an ancient war between castes or clans? Bhagwan Parashurama teaches us that the downfall of adharma and arrogance is inevitable. No matter how powerful one may be, if they stray from the path of righteousness, their destruction is certain. Parashurama was not merely an embodiment of anger, he was a force of balance. He challenged the arrogant rulers of his time and proved that truth and righteousness always prevail. The Treta Yuga, a time when demons terrorized the earth, when adharma, unrighteousness, was at its peak, and truth was being suppressed. It was in this era that Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram was born. Lord Vishnu took birth as Sri Ram, the son of King Dashavatara of Ayodhya. This was not just an incarnation, it was the beginning of a new era that would teach humanity the ideals of dharma, righteousness, truth, and duty. Sri Ram was not just a warrior, he was the embodiment of restraint, ideals, and righteousness. Throughout his life, he faced every trial with grace and never wavered from his principles. When Sri Ram lifted and broke the divine bow of Lord Shiva in Janakpur, it was not just a sign of marriage, it was the dawn of a new era. An era where Sri Ram would face immense trials to establish dharma. But destiny had something else planned. When Mata Kaikeyi demanded her 2 boons, Sri Ram, without any hesitation or complaint, accepted his 14-year exile. This was not merely a king's banishment, it was the ultimate test of sacrifice, a son who gave up his throne to uphold his father's promise. But the greatest purpose of this incarnation unfolded when Ravana, the ruler of Lanka, blinded by arrogance and power, abducted Mata Sita. This was not just a battle, it was a war between truth and falsehood. When Sri Ram, along with his Vanara army, crossed the ocean and entered Lanka, the very foundations of adharma began to tremble. Sri Ram fought Ravana in a fierce battle for 10 days. Ravana was powerful, mighty, and skilled, but he was unrighteous. And finally, Sri Ram's divine arrow ended Ravana's life. This was not just the defeat of a demon, it was the eternal tale of the destruction of ego, injustice, and adharma. After 14 years of exile, when Sri Ram returned to Ayodhya, the entire city lit up with countless lamps. This was not just the return of a king, it was the victory of light over darkness. And from that moment, the festival of Diwali has been celebrated. The life of Sri Ram teaches us that nothing is greater than dharma and righteousness. He was not just a warrior, but also an ideal son, an ideal brother, an ideal king, and an ideal human being. Sri Ram's life shows us that challenges will come, trials will test us, but we must never stray from the path of truth and duty. Sri Ram's message is clear. No matter how many obstacles arise, the one who walks the path of righteousness will always emerge victorious. The Mahabharata War, the most terrifying battle in history. A moment when righteousness and unrighteousness stood face to face, and right in the center stood Yogeshwar Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna's birth was no ordinary event. He was born in prison, and his uncle Kansa made several attempts to kill him. But destiny had other plans. That very night, Vasudeva carried him across the Yamuna to Gokul, where he enchanted everyone with his divine childhood pastimes. However, Krishna was not born merely to perform divine pastimes. He had incarnated to guide the world on the path of righteousness. As Krishna grew up, he ended the tyrant Kansa. But his greatest role was yet to unfold, the Mahabharata War, when the Pandavas were deceitfully sent into exile. When Draupadi was humiliated in the royal court, Sri Krishna did not remain silent. He warned the Kauravas, but when unrighteousness crossed all limits, the great war became inevitable. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna refused to fight against his own kin, Sri Krishna imparted the eternal wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. He reminded Arjuna that the body is mortal, but the soul is eternal. Those who walk the path of righteousness are destined to be victorious. And then, the greatest war in history began. Sri Krishna was not just a charioteer, he was the guiding force behind the war. He strategized, devised war tactics, and ultimately led the Pandavas to victory. This was not just a war, it was the re-establishment of Dharma. Sri Krishna taught the world to never bow before unrighteousness. Stand up against injustice, for the protection of Dharma is the greatest duty. But as every era comes to an end, so did this one. Sri Krishna completed his divine mission and departed for Dwarka. Yet, he left behind the immortal teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Sri Krishna was not just a deity, he was a master strategist, a great politician, and a profound philosopher. His life teaches us that sometimes war is necessary to protect righteousness. He left behind a powerful message: perform your duties without attachment to the results. Walk the path of truth and righteousness, for that is the greatest purpose of life. Sri Krishna's story teaches us that those who walk the path of Dharma will always be victorious. Buddha Avatar. When non-violence became the supreme Dharma, Dharma, truth, and peace, 3 words that form the foundation of humanity. But there was a time when the world was engulfed in darkness. Violence, cruelty, and ignorance reigned supreme. To guide mankind toward the path of peace, Lord Buddha was born. Prince Siddhartha of Kapilavastu was born into prosperity and grandeur. His father, King Shuddhodana, shielded him from every form of suffering. Within the palace walls, he saw only joy and luxury, but destiny had something else in store for him. One day, when Siddhartha ventured outside the palace, he witnessed the reality of life for the first time: an old man, a sick person, and a dead body. He realized that life was not just about pleasures, it was fleeting and impermanent. And then, he made a historic decision. Prince Siddhartha, who had lived in luxury all his life, renounced everything and embarked on the path of asceticism. He wandered through forests for years, undergoing severe penance in search of ultimate truth. And then, one day, under a peepal tree in Bodh Gaya, he attained enlightenment. Siddhartha became Gautama Buddha. Buddha gave one profound message: non-violence is the supreme Dharma. He taught that the root of all suffering is human desire. He introduced the Eightfold Path, a way through which anyone could attain liberation. His disciples grew in numbers rapidly. From kings to commoners, people across the land were drawn to his wisdom. His teachings transformed not just India, but the entire world. But here arises a question: was Buddha truly an incarnation of Lord Vishnu? According to Hindu beliefs, Lord Vishnu incarnated as Buddha in Kali Yuga to preach truth and non-violence. However, Buddhist scriptures portray him as a historical figure. Are these two perspectives simply two sides of the same coin? At the age of 80, Buddha spoke his final words: Apo Dipo Bhava, be your own light. And then he entered Mahasamadhi. Yet, his message remains alive, even today. The Buddha Avatar teaches us that true strength is not found in external battles, but in conquering one's own desires. He proclaimed that non-violence is the greatest dharma and compassion is the most powerful weapon. His teachings are just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. This is why Buddha is not just seen as a religious teacher, but as one of the greatest thinkers in world history. Was Buddha truly an incarnation of Vishnu? That question remains a mystery. But his life and message are eternal, and will continue to guide humanity for centuries to come. Kali Yuga, the most complex and challenging era in human history. Unrighteousness, injustice, and chaos have engulfed every direction. Sin has reached its peak, and the world is heading toward destruction. But there is a prophecy of a warrior who will lead this world from darkness to light, Lord Kalki. According to Hindu scriptures, when Kali Yuga reaches its peak, Lord Vishnu will take his final incarnation, Kalki avatar. He will appear riding his white horse, Devadatta, wielding his celestial sword, and will annihilate evil. This will not be an ordinary war, but the ultimate battle between truth and falsehood. But a question arises: is this just a mythological tale, or are we witnessing its signs in this very era? If you observe carefully, the events unfolding in today's world seem to align with the prophecies of Kalki Avatar. Are these signs that Kali Yuga is nearing its final phase? Is this world truly heading towards a new era? The scriptures state that Lord Kalki will not just be a warrior, but a divine force, ushering in a new age. Satya Yuga, the age of truth, will return, and the world will once again move toward righteousness, truth, and peace. So, is this just a legend or a glimpse into our future? Are you ready for the day when Lord Kalki appears? Are we about to witness the greatest transformation of this era? Let us know in the comments which incarnation excites you the most. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Divine Saga so you never miss out on more incredible mythological stories.